we doing? Hello, hello. It is John Ryan. I haven't streamed in a while, and I'm glad to see you. I'm glad you're here. This is John from Coffee, Talk, and Tech. Well, it's been a while, but I'm back, and I decided to do a late night stream. It kind of got pushed me forward to do this because I got a new video card, and so I was kind of psyched to mess around with the video card and do a couple things that that actually make it really cool to do. So I'm gonna show you guys in a second. Hey Sammy, hey Tracy, how you doing? Nice seeing you. I'm gonna go, let me go pull up my stream since I actually haven't and see what's going on. But yeah, it's been a while, and I figured today is a good day to do a little bit of a stream. Why not, right? So I just got this new video card and I wanted to try it out. So I just dropped it in today, and it's an NVIDIA video card. It's a 3060, and it supports what's called resizable bar in Vmix. And I don't know if anyone else has been shopping for video cards out there. Has anyone been shopping for video cards? Because it's not exactly, hasn't been easy for a while, for that matter. So I actually have been watching the prices, and I noticed that, about a couple months ago, a 3060 video card would cost you about $625. But right now, the cheapest that I've seen for a 3060 was what I bought it for, which right now was $410. And so the list price on that kind of video card is only about $330. So yeah, it's a little bit above what I wanted to pay, but it didn't make a difference too much because I had sold a video card and it offset the price, and I got more for that video card than I would usually get. So it's one of the reasons why I enjoy having a PC, because the PC itself is over 2 years old, and I'm able to upgrade the video card. And let's just say right now I have about 60 something inputs on Vmix open, and I'm streaming, and the load on my CPU is about 18%. And so we could see like the CPU is not really being stressed too much, but for not too much money now, because the new CPUs are coming out for AMD, I can upgrade to almost one of the most powerful CPUs there is, and I'll be good for the next 3 to 4 years. That's kind of like what it's all about for me, is just so you can upgrade your CPU or your video card to to have the longevity of the PC without having to buy everything to redo. So Sammy saying 3060, Dr. Elo was saying he got a 3000 series the other week. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? So the CPU, the video card that's out now, the 3060 originally came out with 6 gigs of memory. Then they started making a version 2, which was a low hash rate, which means that the miners really couldn't use it for what they needed it for. And so it was making it more accessible to people like us. And that was their whole idea. And I chose to wait for the prices to drop a little bit. I've been telling people that they would be dropping soon. And then when they did, it was time. It was just time to do it. So hi Mom, how you doing? Good to see you. And Flippin' Sports Guy. Hey Paul, how are you? Nice to see you. So yeah, so I went and got the video card for $410, and it was well worth it. It's going to allow me now to have like a lot more inputs. And it's not that the video card is so much more capable. It's mainly because of this resizable bar thing that I'm talking about. And you're like, well, I don't really get, what is this resizable bar? And so to make it really simple, It's really allowing the CPU and the video card with the memory be able to access random access memory that it couldn't before. And so they all are communicating better because of this resizable bar. And you can't just get a video card like a 3060 and then have resizable bar. That's only just one aspect about it. And that's why I kind of want to talk about this a little bit, because the video card is one thing, and the lowest video card that will allow you to have resizable bar, which will make your gaming your frames per second actually go up in some games as much as 30%. But in streaming, it also allows my software to use a much more memory. So I could have literally twice the inputs or more, possibly more. We don't really know because no one's really actually gone and tested how many inputs, but I have like 60 up now, and I was using about 55% of my total memory that I can use in my streaming software. And so that means that like I could probably do about 100 inputs before I would top out. And the inputs are all my sources that I have in there in video that are being used. That would total that total input. Hi, Shalay, how are you? Nice to see you. I know late night streaming, I probably surprised a lot of people, and I didn't really spend too much time letting anyone know, that's for sure. So the other thing about this resizable bar is, oh, wow. I watch you guys more than you think. I catch you guys, and I watch about 300 people streaming and watching you guys, DJ Casey and Lady G, all the time. And I'm like pretty amazed, and I like your virtual background. So thank you for stopping in and saying hi. I really appreciate that. So the resizable, let me get back to encompassing everything that resizable bar really entails. And so it's the video card first, okay, that you have to have. You have to have a motherboard that supports it, okay? So your motherboard has to support it, and it has to probably have one of the latest BIOS updates for it to work. And if you have an older 3060, you're probably going to have to update the VBIOS on that also. But any 3060 will be capable. Okay. And then the third step that you would have to do is you would have to enable it with the newest drivers from NVIDIA. And so I'll show you in just a tad little bit what that would look like about just checking it out. But what it's done for me is, I know it's enabled by a couple checkups that I took a look at, and it's going to work for me to be able to have as many inputs as I want. And that was one thing that I was concerned about, and I'm happy because now, if I look at my number 2 display, this is my whole setup. This is what you guys are seeing right now. And so here I am over in my preview. And then what happens is I go over there, and that's what you see in my software. And down at the bottom down here, it shows my GPU memory 100%, and then my CPU is total being used with everything right now 19%. And so this says 100%. I don't know why. It just does now all the time. And they said that's what it's supposed to say. But before, I was using 60-something% total. And to know that this is working, it switched to 100%. And then I had to go into the settings of Vmix, which I can't change while we're in action right now. But I went to performance, and this says right here, high input performance mode. And this is for graphics cards. Now, my old video card would have this checked. I had to uncheck it and then restart my software. And then it let me know that it was being utilized at that point. And then the next step was really after that, I would just have to go to my desktop on my PC. which you guys see right here. Right click, go to my NVIDIA control panel. Let's see if she pops up. Here it is, I'll show it. It popped up on the other screen. I go right down to system information right here. I click that. And then right in this section, it should say resizable bar. Where is it? There it is. Resizable bar, yes. And so I know that resizable bar is being used at this time, and that's how I know. So everything is basically showing up in my software, and I'm testing my new video card as we speak and seeing how everything is panning out. And everything looks really good. I'm really happy with the way things look. You guys don't know, I have my little slider onto the right side over here that I have set up that I'm enjoying. I made this overlay just a couple months ago. And overall, I'm pretty happy with the way everything's working. I can't complain, but to get a better view of how this all looks, really, I could show you what this looks like without the overlay. And so I have the slider going on. Now, I know a lot of people will tell you, you can't get a decent slider without spending, $600, $800. But you know what? You can get a decent slider for a lot less. And soon I'll be doing a review about this slider and letting more people know, because I'm actually just been using it a lot, and I want to make sure that it is what I think it is. If it's reliable, if the motors are quiet, if they get louder. And so far, I've been really happy with it overall. And then in the background, you could see over my shoulder back there, I have my EOS R, and that's just showing from the back my whole setup. The way my screens are set up, you can actually see my mic coming down. This is the one I'm using currently right now. And I would say that resizable bar, besides using it for Vmix though, it increases the games that some people play up to 30% with their frames per second, and which is a huge factor of why people should be looking for a good deal on a 3060 at this point, and be able to upgrade their gaming system. And a lot of people don't realize, because all they hear is people talking about how everything for a PC is so expensive. Well, really, it's only been the video cards that have been so expensive. Everything else has been pretty affordable. The memory has actually been some of the lowest memory that I've seen in years and years. And the hard drive costs are super low. And, motherboards are a little bit up because they have the chips on them that I guess are being used a lot more. And of course, the camera issue is still a big issue. And a lot of you guys know I've been talking about that for a few months. I gave a fair warning as much as I could to the people that you usually watch me do live streams, and we were warning about the chip problem. And it's not affecting like every camera out there. It's affecting mainly the cameras that people use, the Sony crop sensors like the A6400 and the new ZV-E10. People are spending a lot more money to have those cameras, but not really the bigger full frame cameras. They're not really having the issues. You can get those cameras. So, yeah. So you're looking to get a slider. Yeah. It's really useful because not only is it just good for what I'm doing, right? Live streaming and having that effect where it's, visually pleasing and people can watch and it's kind of cool to see. It's also really good if you're doing videos and you have like something you're doing B-roll on, or this or that. It's really useful and it really adds to your videos. But for a live streamer, It's also just really cool because you can set it up in a lot of different ways. It doesn't have to be from the side. You can have a setup from the front. I could have it over onto my left side on this table and actually zoom in and out off of my desk, just to be able to show somebody another view. But what I really think it's cool is that people get to see kind of like around you and what you have going on, how your, monitors are set up, or what's on your desk, or what you may have in lighting. And then they ask questions. And it's really cool when they ask the questions and then you can help someone go a little further with what they're trying to learn. Because I have a lot of people that ask me, well, what mic are you using? Or what software are you using? Or what audio interface do you use with your mic? And a lot of people are surprised that I sound as good as I do with a mic that's off the scene, out of the shot. So, and it takes a little tweaking to do and setting things up so you don't peak and don't sound horrible half of the time, and a little testing. But yeah, it can all be done with the time that you put in and the efforts. Yeah, late night action. That's just a little bit of a change, Don, just to change it up a little bit. I was kind of like looking and I said, I haven't streamed on my channel for like 2 months or more. And I've been working on some videos and I was like, maybe it's just time to stop in and say hi and let people know that, I miss them. It's great seeing people. But, I'm trying to do the right thing that I talk about, which is make more videos instead of just live streaming all the time to grow your channel. It's something that I mentioned months ago that I needed to do. It's something that's harder for me. It's something that it's been hard for me to be motivated to do it with the little time I have. But I know it's important and I know it's something that I need to do. And I'm working at it, and I'm slowly getting to where I want to get. I have a new video that's going to be coming out. It's going to be about updating your BIOS with a Gigabyte motherboard, and it's going to be kind of fun. Yeah, you use a spinner for your cam. Yeah, anything that you think might cause a little interaction or a little bit of movement or a little bit of change. People, they kind of like it and they might ask you about it. They even have software that you can have in a script in OBS where you can have your regular camera follow you in the shot. So it would frame you with this script that I have in OBS. And then as I move, it gives you that whole virtual move and follows you. One day, maybe I'll do like a little video on it. It's kind of cool, but it's kind of cheesy at the same time. And so it's not always about doing more that's going to make your stream better. Sometimes it's just making things much more better quality. And before anything at all, I think the quality would have to come from your, the sound, your voice, the mic you're using, maybe tweaking it to be kind of working really well for you. And then go from there, right? You take one step at a time and you could upgrade your cameras one at a time. And like, I'm lucky I live where I am. Like anytime I was at B&H in New York on Thursday, I go there a few times a month, if anything, to go check out things. I literally can spend a half an hour in the grip section and looking at things. And right now I'm looking at like these Varipoles. Does anyone know what those are? Has anyone seen like a Varipole before? And it's basically a pole that goes from ceiling to floor that locks in, and then you can put lighting off of it with, say a grip or something, and you could put your speakers on there with stands. It's anything to kind of help you clear out a section. Or a lot of people get it for like putting backdrops in, right? So you can have like a 3-system backdrop, and you could have the poles behind you, and you could drop a green screen or anything right behind you and set it up, and then get rid of it easily, right? You could just take it down. And if you decide to leave the cross pole up, you could, or you could get rid of it and just have the 2 poles on the side. Like a whole setup is pretty impressive when it comes down to really being able to mess around with it. Because like on the holiday streams that I've done or talking about products or it's kind of fun to use a green screen, you know, sometimes, right? Just for a little different change up and just to have some fun. Yeah, I'm getting juggy with it or jiggy or whatever you want to say. I am tonight. It's late and we're kind of having some fun just stopping in, talking about some of the things that I've been working on and looking at and trying to improve as time goes on for my streams. Because it's always about making things easy. And part of it is having cameras that I don't have to move ever. You know, some of it is just having that camera in front of me and knowing I'm not ever going to move it. My ZV-E10 is up there. I think I fooled a couple people when I put my white ZV-E10 up and I said I was putting it for sale. Yeah, I did. I put it for sale on eBay and I got almost twice as much as I paid for it. And then I went and bought a ZV-E10 for half of that. So, and I bought a couple other things along the way because, you know, to be really honest with you, there are people that just didn't make it in YouTube this year. A lot of people were out there. A lot of people were trying to make it in YouTube and they realize how damn hard it is and they have to sell their equipment. And I live in an area where I can take advantage of that. And I could pick up 6400s with, 18 to 135 millimeter lenses that cost, the whole thing would cost you usually $1,300. I could pick them up for $850, $750, something like that. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that, Charles. And I always change it up. I'm always working with it. Like I'll change it up a little bit where it's a little bit harder, you know, a little bit harder over here, darker blue, lighter blue, darker red, you know, different colors, different color lights up here, anything just to keep a little bit of a change or a mood with the lights or the on air. You know, it's just tweaking things and having fun with your set. This is part of what makes YouTube fun for me, I think, is just changing it up all the time. You can set OBS to move to camera on its own. Yes. Yeah, you can, but I'm talking about how the camera follows you. There's a follow you script that this dude made, and it's basically, it will sit here, and if I move to here, it will just follow me back and forth like that. Like those, you know, like those cheaper cameras that they have out that do that with the AI. And that's all it is AI that follows you. But it's kind of like a little bit, you know, engaging to an extent, or it can be considered corny for some people. So how you doing, man? J. Cruz in the house, another Jersey guy stopping in. Yeah, I was not busting your gonads the other day when the mic was not working. I know you were trying to test it, but I was just letting you know that it wasn't working when you had it on there. But I know how much of a change it makes because I remember when I spent a little bit of money because J. Cruz, which is Healthy Bearded here, guys, he's got a channel that he does beards with, and he's got a channel where he's trying to follow his weight loss journey. And he's following his journey, and he was talking about he's so excited to start vlogging with his Canon M50 with a nice D&D mic. And so I think that was really cool because I remember when you start using a mic on top of your cameras, how much better it sounded. And it really gets you pumped up when that happens. You know what I mean? So I really like that. I know there's people out here that call me Coffee Talk and Twerk, and because they kind of know that I used to be a pretty good dancer back in the day. I don't move as good as I used to, but I enjoy dancing just as much or even more. And, you know, maybe I need to do it sometime soon. You know what I mean? Do you think I can get a Stream Deck for $100 or less? Thinking of getting two for a friend of mine that is going to be helping me with the channel. It depends which one. Are you looking for a 15 button, Sammy, or are you looking for the XL? I picked up my XL and it was hard as heck to find it for $160, but that's a steal, right? If you can find an XL Stream Deck that's virtually brand new for $160, steal that thing. All day long, Sammy, you can pick up a 15 button for $100. Yes, not a problem. I even sold my old one to JA for $100. And what I'm looking to do is to pick up eventually another 32 button. And on the website, they have this thing that you can stack both of them. They make a little frame for it and it fits together. And then you kind of have like a 64 button set up right there at your desk. So yeah, you could definitely pick up a 15 button, bro. No problem. So yeah. There's no time to the pressing, get those parts moving. Yeah, it's part of just still having fun with the YouTube channel. And that's what I really enjoy, because I like making deals too. And this is a decent amount of money that I've been spending in this studio. So if I can run and gun and make some good deals, I do it. I mean, I'll give you an example. Last week, something came up for 2 high quality tripods, and this lady was selling 2 of them for $100. One of those tripods, if I were to buy it at B&H, was $315, and the other one was over $200. So you're talking over $500 worth of tripod for $100. I called up and I said, I'll drive down there right now. And I took about a 40 minute drive back and forth. It was 30 minutes there, about 30 minutes back. And I picked these things up and they were like brand new. She was a real estate agent who was using them to take pictures. And these are top dollar tripods and monopods. And she could have picked up an easy Amazon one for cheap, but she didn't. She picked up a real expensive one. So is all your controls by the Stream Deck. So a long time ago when we were talking, Charles, and I was on StreamYard, I was using the A10 Mini back then. And nowadays I'm not using the A10 anymore. I stepped away from that and I got the ELGATO Cam Link Pro. And so now I'm using I'm using that to switch with everything. So here's my Stream Deck right here. And then you could also see it from the side. It's basically this is my setup right here at my desk. I'll move this drink. Let me take a drink. Sammy, yeah, you can get 2 of them. They're always out there for sale. And if I see something, I'll send it your way. I'll just send you a link and send it over to you. But yeah, basically this is my setup now. And let me just get rid of my overlay so you can see it better. So we come in and you can see my Stream Deck is here. This is called a PC panel. I did a video on it, and the PC panel connects to my Wavelink software, and then it changes the volumes. So when I play my music like this, I'm gonna play some music. I can adjust the level right here. Look. Right on the slider. And so when I got away from the Rodecaster Pro and realized what the Wavelink software could do as far as my streaming and was really impressed by it, I was really not happy, because being a little amateur DJ back in the day and having fun with it, I always liked my sliders, and my slider was missing because I don't want to tab into my software and change things while I'm streaming. That is not really cohesive and not slick and not fun. So I bought that PC panel, and that hooks up 4 different sliders, and I have 4 of my Wavelink streams hooked up to that. So I have 2 browsers, one I use for audio. I have my sound effects in there, which I can adjust to any level. And I have a couple other things. And that's what I use that PC panel for. And then also, I have a lot of other audio equipment that I've got along the way. That was a great spin out. You're talking about the merge or the transition. Yeah, it's really, this is Vmix software. But What I have over here also is, of course, I have my Mo2 M2 audio interface, and then you see some lights down here sparking up down here. You see the flashing down below. That's my DBX 286, and that's for processing. Because another thing that you're gonna miss out on too when you get away from streaming with the Rodecaster Pro is the processing built in. And I just did a video on talking about why the DBX is so important for just streaming. And because as a YouTuber, you may be doing videos and then you could do whatever you want post-processing in your software to make your audio sound good, right? But how do you make your audio sound good while you're live and tweaking it? So there's only two ways. And there's one way is VSTs, which I can do in my Wavelink software, which I love the fact that I can do that. Actually, my noise suppression is going through a virtual input for noise reduction, an NS1 VST. And then I have everything else as far as compression and a little bit of adjustments on a couple other things in a de-esser is on the DBX 286S. And it's a lot to say, and it's a lot to tweak after a while. It's not hard, but it's knowing these products. It's not just walking in the door. But my concept of all this is learning this kind of stuff and then knowing what I can recommend to clientele. So when people come to me and say, this is what I need on this budget for this amount of money, I'll know these differences. There's a reason why I have, an ELGATO face cam right here, because that's the darn cheapest thing that I would recommend for anyone to start with. It is such good quality for as cheap as a camera is that. And then you put some lighting with that, or you use your phone and then some quality lighting, and you're able to stream. And that's, what people don't realize is you can make a stream look darn good with an overlay and correct lighting. And I'm going to soon do a live stream, or perhaps I might just do the video, which what I should do is I'm going to do just the video where I'm using my cheapest lights with that face cam, and I'm going to use, I want to use the Wave 3. Because I don't think there's any other mic that anybody should buy starting out, because you have that audio routing built in. The Wave 3 is awesome. You can add the VSTs that they offer for free, through, the same ones you can get on OBS for that matter. But I see you are using one key light. So I have, this is the fill light over here, and this is my key light. And because they're so big, I don't know if you see this light that's here. You see it here. There you go. So I have this light, which is virtually over my head. And then I have the one over to my left side right there. And they're 36 inches though. You know what I mean, Charles? So they're really low lit right now. It is not bright in here. And I'm running my camera in front of me at 2.8 f-stop at ISO 500 actually. And the reason I did that is it's not very common that I do that all the time, but the reason I did that because I wanted to mess around with it a little bit and see if I enjoy the clarity in the background. Now I know everybody likes to set, their 16 mil Sigma to 1.4 and have your nice blurry background, but there's something about, and something that I noticed in myself is when I'm watching streamers that I enjoy, I want to see what they have. I want to see what is in their background. And so I changed my f-stop to 2.8 so I can clear up that background, and then people could look around a little bit more and see something, maybe make a connection with me, or maybe make a connection in the products that I have. So if they maybe see me riding on my motorcycle in this big picture, oh, you like motorcycles? Oh, you ride, or you have ridden, and then maybe you make a connection with somebody right there. So you never know. Yeah, Sammy, That's the way it is. You always gotta change things up. And I know that a lot of streamers here like to look at other streamers' backgrounds. And so they get a kick out of it when you do this side thing. And right now I have the same thing. I have f4 over here on this side on a 18 to 135 lens from Sony. And you can see everything. I didn't blur anything out. And so people like that. And I don't know if I'm going to change back or not, but I want to just do these things so I can make a decision of what I think maybe I like better or not. Yeah, no, it looks good. The Sigma is so darn sharp. It's a great lens. And that's the thing. It's nice to do it to make a change. And then also it's nice to do it sometimes in videos where you put it back to f-stop 1.4 and then you can have you as the focal point in the video, right? And sometimes that's good to do. And that's another reason what's really good is if you have this kind of setup right now where the PC's in front of you with the screens, using the Edge software from Sony is great because then you connect your camera USB and then you can go into the camera software and then you can go and change your ISO and you can go change your f-stop and a couple other things, like you can set your custom white balance right in there. So you don't have to go and reach up and hit those buttons behind the camera all the time. And that's why it's important to download, if you have a Canon, then it's the Canon utility apps, or if you have a Sony, it's the Sony Edge. And downloading that makes it so much easier for, everything else. And along the way this week, I think another thing I did, which was a little bit frustrating, was upgraded my phones. So I went from using one phone carrier to another phone carrier, and upgrading for the family. Everybody's getting, pretty much an S22, new Samsung phones. The cameras are really good. It's darn almost neck and neck with the iPhone's 13 Pro Max, and so the iPhone may be just a tad better still, but you're talking these phones the cameras in these phones are unbelievable. And then you go and spend a little bit of money, about 15 bucks on Vmix Pro, or there's actually another software that's not as intuitive, but can do mostly everything that does for free. And then you get the full use of those camera settings. And I don't think anybody would say much about any added footage that you would take from one of those cameras. Right, Sammy knows Vmix Pro, and Vmix Pro is great. It really, really is. It opens up your camera to a lot more settings that wouldn't be there initially, and really lets you use that camera like a professional would. And you don't have to spend the $15. There's 2 or 3 apps out there. One of them's for $5 and one of them's for free that really make your cameras top notch. And I'm going from an old camera, an S8, all the way up to a 22. I am not one of those persons that just buys a phone to have the next one. That is where I do not do that. And then I make really smart decisions in my PCs of when I upgrade also. I was looking back at some of the old forums. I have been in the forums and building PCs since around 1999. And I've made hundreds of sales and trades of PC parts and building PCs. So when I did have Mac products, I used them a lot of years. I had iMac, I had all the iPhones, and I don't talk bad about them at all. I think they're really solid products, and I liked them when I had them, but I just happened to and at that time, going back like 2007, 8 or 9, something like that, they were much better than the Samsung products. The Samsungs I use were clunky and frustrating, and the phones were restarting, and you grabbed a iPhone, it was solid, it was great. But things have changed, man. And I really like what I can do with my phones and my PCs. And I don't get my hands tied in some situations, but it's kind of like what you like and how you like to use things. For me, I just like to use my Samsung products and those phones. I had an S8 phone for the last 3+ years. There's not been one time that thing has faltered. Not one time. So, and I know the iPhones are the same way. I have every friend that has them, and I've used them. I've played around with them. They are great. There's no doubt. So Charles saying, I need to work on my lighting for my studio, then I'll be happy. Okay, well, if you need to work on your lighting, check my links down below. You're gonna see, and if you don't know about it, or maybe you haven't talked to anybody that has them, these are all Amaron 100Ds that I have, these two. And I actually have on order, a new product that came out is the Amaron 60D, which is powered by either battery or regular 110. And that light came out just the last couple months, and it's on back order. It hasn't been released yet, actually, to everybody, but the YouTubers got it, of course. They did their reviews on it. I snatched it up right away. Now, I picked these up when Black Friday was around, and these lights were $169 each. These soft boxes, which are no joke, they cost a lot of money. I got these soft boxes for $100 each. That is a steal and a half from B&H. And so, yeah, you're talking about, close to $300 each light. And then I have the other light that is on back order. But yeah, you're right, Charles. I mean, it makes a world of difference to have that really good quality lighting. It really does. And I know Sammy's probably going, why doesn't John using Vmix Social, right? Is that what he's probably saying? Where's your Vmix Social? Here it is, Sammy. I do have my Vmix Social here too. And I always have the other one just in case if there's a problem with it and I want to not use it. And sometimes I forget which buttons I allocate for everything too. So yeah. So, yeah, I'm using, yeah, I do. I use both. I have the one there in case my Vmix Social gives me any kind of glitch, because it's not really a big deal. It doesn't really make too much of a difference to me. So, for me to just really have them both just in case, why not? And then I like to look at both too, because one is, I really like the groove in this, the look of it, and I really think it shows everybody's avatar really nice. And that's like one benefit of it. But it's also cool to have the simplicity of just the free thing. And then also what's kind of cool is sometimes people ask about it and they don't know that this can be set up in OBS also, this kind of setup here. I mean, I'm the one that made that blue and used it. I didn't make it blue. I changed it though, because they allow you to change the colors. And that's the video that I did about how to be able to show your comments in OBS. And because I do mess around with OBS also, it's part of me staying up on what I need to know about live streaming. So, yeah, that's about it. That's all I've been up to, guys. My son's playing some sports, and he's trying out lacrosse for the first time, and it's been a little bit rough because the weather hasn't been like the greatest all the time. And so it's been him not really being able to train as much and get used to the sport, but he's working on it. He's working on it. And I appreciate him trying something new, like a new sport is kind of cool for him to keep on messing around with. Let me see here. I could almost use another screen. I would like a fourth one eventually. I kind of enjoy that factor, but I really appreciate that. Sasquatch NHL. So look at that. would you think that? Hey, look at that channel, Sasquatch NHL. He says, I love your channel. Keep up the great work. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I am trying really hard to get myself up into a position where I could start putting more videos out. And I've been saying this for a while, but it's just not easy. It's a flow that I'm trying to get going and eventually get better at and put it all together. I really, really enjoy live streaming. I love it. I love live streaming. I really do. But it's not going to be the main factor to grow my channel, I don't believe. So I can't limit myself with just doing the live streams and not doing more videos and getting better at making them. Because the longer I try to avoid that, the longer it's just going to prolong everything for the growth factor, because a lot of times you tap yourself out. And there's always factors that aren't true for every channel. I think that when it comes to my specific type of channel, it's not the way to go. So, but other channels it could be. And you know, those variables we could talk about and we have talked about, but it's just not feasible for my channel. It's me really helping people with pain points that they have with live streaming or YouTubing. And then me eventually getting to the point where people see that I am qualified to be able to help them get better. You know, so when people come to me and I say, you know, you really want to look at this product and this is really going to help you. Or, you know, I could tell by the way you have this set up, you're going to want to do this. And then when they start, you know, taking my advice on things, then they might realize that I know what I'm talking about. And that's the route that I've been trying to go. And it's hard because people don't always really take the advice all the time. But if people pay you for the advice, that's where, you know, sometimes when people are paying, they really pay attention to what you're saying. But when you try to help people and they ask and they don't pay, a lot of times they don't want to hear what you have to say, because then they have to look really hard at themselves and make changes. And that's not always acceptable for everybody. And it's hard. So yeah, well then, you know what I mean? I'm so happy that you're streaming, first of all. And Sasquatch NHL, he says, I hear you, new streamer myself as well. I'm glad that you're streaming. It's important that you're out there streaming and getting good at it. But if you stick with this, don't forget, and I know it's hard to knuckle down, don't forget to spend some time on some regular channel videos. You know, get the videos out there, and when you start making videos that people are looking for, those are going to be more seen. The algorithm is always in favor of the videos over a live stream. It's just the way it works now, and spending the time doing it will be beneficial for your channel for sure. Oh, it's nice to see some newer faces again that I haven't seen in a while. This is Otter Tail channel. Love watching you. I'm learning as I go and progressing as expected. Oh, that's good to hear. Someday I'll be able to start making more, asking more extensive questions. Then things will explode. Well, you know what I mean? Don't ever think that the questions have to be any more complicated than you're thinking. So if it's any question, it's not silly. So don't think that your question, you know, is too minimal or anything. So I appreciate any question, and I'll do my best to answer anybody to help them. And when you see what I see, it's not, you know, what I have here. I mean, when you see it, it's not to intimidate anybody in any factor or show off or anything. It's for you to understand. If you look at my videos from a year ago, my channel was like new. It was new. I was in everyone's position at new. My lighting was the worst. I struggled with my lighting so much. Charles was in here. He's been streaming for a long time, and he's even not happy with his lighting at this point. It's one of those things that sometimes we put off so long, and then we don't realize how important it is. So any question to help you in any way, no matter what. Even if it was like, what's the cheapest decent mic you think I can get my hands on? I've had people ask questions like that, and I've done videos on mics that cost like $22 USB mics and stuff like that. So you never know. Sometimes the silliest question gets the best answer sometimes. But Sasquatch NHL is one of your videos about the chat bubbles helped me a lot. I'm using that technique in my streams now. Yeah, that was the one I said to show your comments. And I did one first that was around, okay? And it was going through StreamYard at the time because there was no other way. It was like this workaround. And then I went and found another way that a couple people put in process, and it wasn't well known a while ago. And that's my latest one. So if you're using OBS, you can definitely show the comments in your live stream. Go check out my video. It tells you how to do it. And thank you for watching it, and thank you for coming back and telling me that. I appreciate that. The feedback is always a great thing to get. He says, I just put those RGB floodlights in your cart. I did a live stream on those RGB floodlights, and I just want people to know they don't work as good as they're working right now on every background. So if you have a reflective background where you have, like, say, paneling or glass, or you have a color that is more of a absorbing color, like my gray, it does really well. The grays absorb the color onto the wall, which means that I don't have to output 100%. But these floodlights are so cost effective, and they've gone up in price a bit, because I picked mine up originally for around $32. And then I actually bought another set. So I have two sets, and for the price, I think they're amazing. The coverage you get is amazing. They do not get hot, and you'll really enjoy them for the most part. And if you do, let me know. Thanks, I appreciate that. But I've had people buy them and like, it's not working off my panel. No, it won't work on every background. And my point is I even named the color of the paint. And because when I painted this studio, because I moved, and when I moved, it was the intent of putting a color on my wall that would be conducive to be able to make these kinds of changes. Okay, good. Yeah, that's my latest one, and they did a couple updates from there, but I guarantee you probably figured it out, and they made it a little bit better and a little bit better. But it is great, because I tell you, I don't know if I would have reached out and bought any kind of streaming software if that would have been around another 6 months earlier. Because I love OBS. I think OBS is fantastic. The quality of your videos, the quality of your live streams. And I was like, but I can't interact with my live stream. And that was really frustrating. And at that point, I was like, I got to get something that lets me do that. And I was really lucky to have a friend who was in this stream earlier, Sammy Superstar. He's a young guy, but he's been streaming for a lot of years. He went full Mac. Okay, and this streaming software I have is only PC, and he sold it to me for a nice price, and I was thankful to pick it up, because Vmix is absolutely outstanding software. So that's where I'm learning from you, slowly but surely. That's good. I'm glad. And don't ever feel that you can't reach out. Send me an email if you have any kind of questions about anything. That's my goal, is to help people, and I really enjoy it. And I really enjoy streaming. And my whole thing is my relatability to the person who wants to be cost effective. And that's why, like, people are like, oh, you're not going to be able to find a slider for, $600-800. And then when I picked up the slider I got, that I have right now, and it took me a lot of like research and looking and complaints and looking through the comments and seeing what people say, and I finally picked up one of the newers, and it's unbelievably solid, man. It's just been great. The motor's so quiet, and there were so many complaints about like it not being pre-assembled, and you had to do a bunch of things when it showed up in the box, and then when you put the motor on it, it didn't fit back in that original travel box. They fixed all those things, and soon I'll be doing a video on that actually, and recommending it more and more. I just want to get some more use time out of it, so it's not like something I've only used a tad, and I don't really know if there's any surprises. So but yeah, that's the idea. I try to find things that are cost effective, and then people are blown away because when I live close to New York City, the things that I pick up, you know, it's like people can't believe that I find ZVE 10s, you know, for $500-600 when you can't even get them anywhere. But I do. Oh, dude, I missed you, bro. I'm sorry. Nick, how are you, bro? Nick H in the house. What's up? This is our thing. This is what Nick does. And he's a good dude. He always stops in my channel and checks me out, supports me. And I was talking earlier, just telling you, the guys how I'm getting a new Samsung S22. I really want to upgrade my Instagram whole shamil. And so I'm going to try to get better at that a little bit. I think it's kind of fun. And I think it's going to add to my YouTube channel and making connections, and also for people to reach out. It's a nice way for people to communicate if they want to ask a question. So don't hesitate to hit me over on Instagram at Coffee Talk and Tech, and send me a message there. That's another way that people can communicate with me. So just to let it know. I thought it was a pre-recorded upload, but it's alive. Hi everyone, by the way. Yes, this is my first live stream in about 2 months, man. Rodrigo, how you doing? This is No Brainer Languages. He's a big supporter of me and my channel, and he stops in a lot of my live streams, and I appreciate him very much. He adds, and that's the thing, right? With these live streams is the people that add to it. They're so important, because the more people that add to it and add to the community, we can all bounce these things off each other. And that is part of the learning curve. When I can learn from you, you can learn from me. It's really important. And I enjoy it. Oh my God, how can I miss my brother? Yeah, that's me. I know it is. That's your thing, man. That's how you do it. That's how you enter a live stream. I get it. And I appreciate your energy, always. Yeah. So, woo, I paid last month on my, the last payment on your S20. Okay, so I picked up my son, the S20, I think it's the PE or FE, and that was for him. And that was because it was way cheaper than the S22. I was able to go into AT&T with this special deal they're doing right now. I brought in an S8 and I had paid nothing, absolutely nothing for an S22. And so that was a no-brainer to me, no-brainer. And so the S22s will be here. I would say the only downfall is it is a little bit more expensive, but I'm getting more out of the whole deal. And the only reason I am getting a pretty good deal is because where I work is giving a discount. So I get a discount per line, which is very effective. It's $30 less than what I would normally pay. And that made a big difference, because I am not about spending more money for everything than, you know, just because you see what you see here, don't think I'm not frugal in a lot of areas in my life. Yeah, the Note 10, right? And I had the S8. I mean, and the S8 is still a good camera. I was on here streaming with it and showing people what an S8 looked like, and they couldn't believe it was an S8. And I was like, man, it's like if you make your lighting look good, you'd be surprised how good you look with anything. It's crazy. So, Nick, what are you saying here? Hey, John, why do you refuse to go Mac? No, I went Mac. I've been there. I've been there for years. I was probably 6 years. I was Mac. I don't dislike it at all. It's amazing. I can go on and on about how crazy some of this technology is, and I know a little bit more than average, but I don't know a ton. But I just like their M1 chip, 15 watts. I think that thing puts out 15 watts, and it almost competes on a one level. You know, here's the thing. The AMD CPUs beat it out when it comes to multi-threading and multi cores. Okay, they beat it out real bad, but the single core power of this M1 chip is ridiculous. It really is, and this is just the beginning of this chip. And when they start making their cores a little bit different or doubling up on the Pro cores, I think it's amazing. It definitely is. But right now, I can't go in and add memory to that. I can't go in and change the configurations. Right now, I know a PC that I built, I'll be able to keep for at least 5 to 6 years, at least, and not have to worry about anything, because that motherboard alone will take 3 generations of chips. I won't have to go and change a motherboard out. And if I want more memory, or if I want to change hard drive, and I like that. I'm that person that's not afraid to get my hands dirty or be able to mess with stuff. And so I prefer what I have in this kind of stuff, but I will not knock it. The technology that these companies put out against each other is amazing. Amazing. I've been saying things are a given rather than an over. That's not a given. The sound pretentious over. I come with the brand. Yeah, I get you. I get you. Nick is saying, yeah. I don't. Yeah. So I don't prefer it. So don't think that that's necessarily true. It's just where I am. I had the Mac, and I like a lot of their products. It's just the customizable thing, the little bit of freedom that I enjoy by having a Samsung phone and the PC and changing it up. It's just me. It's just what I enjoy. And if you're a gamer in any way, which I'm not, then you would never be able to go M1 anyway. So a lot of gamers, you know, they know that, and it's just the way it is, unfortunately. And that could change, and that could change next year. So, yeah, a lot of people do. It's a whole myth though about it's safer, it's this, it's that. That is not true. That is not true. There's reasons why Windows gets hacked. There's other reasons behind all that. I just got this little fan. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. I got this little fan for like $10 or something. Let's see if I can show it. It's black. It's right here. Here it is. I'm holding it up so you can see it against my white background speaker. It's this tiny little fan. And when I get a little hot when I'm streaming with everything in front of me, I turn it on and it's pretty awesome. I really enjoy it, but I don't know. I don't think you guys will hear it, but if you happen to hear it at all, let me know in the whole Shamil Shamazel. Don is saying, I like both MacBook Pros for the form factor and PCs. Yeah, I mean, they're the products that you can't go wrong with any of them. I think it's just more of everything. Like, you know, my wife is a teacher. That whole, you know, aspect, they're all using PC and all using Microsoft product. So, you know, it's just much easier for her to have laptops and other computers in the house that can support that. And the list goes on and on. But even my Mac products, I had Boot Camp on, right? So I was booting up Windows 7 and Windows 10 on Macs also. you know, and then I would go in there and we'd do, you know, Lightroom and all kinds of stuff in the Mac OS, and then my wife would do her emails and other things in the boot camp of Windows. Yeah, it's awesome, right? You don't hear that fan. I have that noise suppression on, so it's not that great. And so I put that little fan on, and it's nice because I have it blowing up and it gets a little bit of wind blowing, and it cools me down a little bit, because when you're in the room with the lights and the computer and everything going, it warms up. It warms up a bit. You know, it's getting warmer in New Jersey, guys. It's finally getting a little bit warmer. So yeah, you know, I don't know, like, here's the thing, that's not totally true everywhere. And most like administrations, they're not using that stuff. Maybe the teachers themselves in some areas would be, but the administrations and, you know, the towns, they're all using Microsoft stuff. And that's why 90% or 80%, maybe 90 or more companies are using all that also. And then you go into, you know, the retouching industry or creative industry, they're using a lot more Macs. And it's just been like that for a lot of years, and it may not stay like that forever. I don't know about that. I just know what works for me right now. And I'm not like one of those people that's so against one or the other in any way. So I'm definitely not. Besides the cost, I like PC better than Mac regardless of cost. Yeah, but I just like, if you read about the technology of this M1 chip and what the capabilities are of this chip for as much power that it's taking, it is truly amazing and mind-blowing. You know, it's like 15 watts versus, say, if you had an AMD chip like a Ryzen. Let's just take a Ryzen 950, which is pretty much almost the highest chip out there. It's like 120 watts or something versus 100 versus 15. And like I said, on the multi-core aspect of the PC, the AMD chip blows it out of the water. But for the true horsepower of a single core one-on-one test, that M1 chip, it goes, you know, hand in hand with it. I'm just saying, if you know, it's pretty amazing. Definitely is. Hi, Laura. How you doing? It's nice to see you. Our kiddos get Chrome. Right. The kids all get Chromebooks. That's another good point. The schools, thanks, Laura. That's a very good point. The schools are giving Chromebooks out, you know, to their kids. That's what they bring home and what they use. Hey, buddy. What's up, Jay? Nice to see you. Screen for chat, screen for stream, view other top. So I have my software on one screen, and then I have the chat on my left screen. And then underneath the chat, though, I have a couple other like links in there, like YouTube and stuff. And then up top, I have the music. And that doesn't always stay that way. It might be a little different, but I just added my third screen. And it's been so useful. I'm so happy to have it. And, but that's basically, I always try to like have my chat over here and my streaming software to the right. But, where's my buddy? Here he is. Where is he? He's on vacay. And why is he watching YouTube? This is what I want to know. It's, you know, it's midnight on the East Coast. It's 11 o'clock by him. He's supposed to be on vacation, and he's looking at YouTube. What does that tell you guys? So this, if anybody has a question now, Nick, I don't know if you're a gamer or anything and you don't know what resizable bar is, ask a question. But the 3060 is the lowest RTX video card that you can get that has resizable bar. So it does make a huge difference in games. But how you doing, Jay? How are things going? Someone's got a birthday coming up too, as that guy does. But right, exactly, Don. You know what I mean? This guy can't stay off the grid for more than like 2 seconds. I don't know what he's doing. I hope his wife doesn't know, though. He went north of where he lives and is just chilling out up at a lake, you know, like vibing out, supposedly trying to get away from his, you know, electronics. But it doesn't look that way. But I don't know what he's doing. But and you know what's really funny, Don, is I texted him, and about like, I don't know, maybe 50 miles away, there was a 1983 Patterson Racing PR 200 for sale. And I was like, how close are you to this? And he's like, about 30 minutes. I could pick it up on the way home. I was like, God, I would love to have that bike. I had it when I was like 16. And but it was like $1,000, which is actually a pretty darn good price for the full bike. It had a red line neck and CW bars. Whew, I was like almost there. I was almost there. But Tracy, what's going on? Did you see JA's here? I know. He woke up to go use the bathroom and pee, and then he saw I was live streaming. Who knows? He must have caught some bad weather. Power went out. Mosquitoes found him, and so on. That's my theory. Right? He can't keep this guy away from YouTube. That's the thing, you know. You could take someone far away, but it's just not always going to happen. Who knows what he's doing? Yeah. I'm actually interested in John's 3060 Intel. Yeah, you know what it is? It's not that this is so much more powerful, right? Because like if you're a gamer, it's going to give you very similar frame rates, the 3060. If you were to take it horsepower for horsepower from the 2060, you get like maybe a 3 to 4% gain. But then that it has resizable bar, that makes a huge difference. The other huge difference is that these 3060s that they started putting out are 12 gigabytes of memory versus the original 6 gigabytes. So overall, from a 2060 at 6 gigs to a 3060 at 12 gigs with resizable bar makes this thing so much more useful for me moving forward. And for $100 and something difference in the long run, it makes a lot of sense to do it. Hey, Annie, there she is. What's going on? Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping in. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're taking some time here and there to take a few deep breaths for yourself. I know you're always going through a lot, and I really appreciate you stopping in and saying hi, and we always think about you too. So, and yeah, so I popped up on here. What are you saying here, Sammy? I don't want to miss this here. I still have Vmix. One of the people that I'm working with, he is using a PC. I want to teach him Vmix maybe. So do you think the Stream Deck will help? I used the Stream Decks with Vmix, but I knew everything. Well, yeah, I mean, of course, the Stream Deck is awesome with everything. And listen, I get it. You have that little... Here's the thing, Sammy. I mean, truthfully, I know people, right? The bigger kind of productions use Stream Deck with Companion, or they use they can use that built-in, what is that called? That control panel. Where is it? I don't want to hit something and make something disappear. Yeah, the shortcut panel, right? I get it. You can use that and it will do the same exact thing as a Stream Deck, but there's something that's really nice about the Stream Deck, and then be able to put which you know, I don't know. You could get away with that using that little control panel too, Sammy, but it's what you prefer, you know? And I think people prefer sometimes to have hardware because no one wants to be looking on the screens for things. That's the main thing, right? That's the main reason why I like my PC panel, because I get to touch the slider instead of tabbing in and out of a software. So I think that's the main thing with that. Yeah. We can do that. We go down and buy that stuff, build a rig. You have to stay in town for a couple of days for that to happen, though. That doesn't happen like in 2 seconds. You know, got to eat dinner and have like, you know, a couple of pale ales and stuff like that. I don't have pale ales ever, to tell you the truth, but it sounded cool when I said it. What's up, Taryn? How are you? I'm live on another panel, but I had to say hi and hit the like. Thanks, Darren. I really appreciate that. Nice to see you. It's been a while since I've been streaming, so it's really nice to see you guys coming in and dropping a hello and everything. I miss you all, and I love having you guys come in. Oh, that's awesome. Here's Darren went and got the PC panel with the Revelator, and it rocks. That's so awesome to hear, Darren. So it's really cool to see that you checked it out and you thought it was amazing, and then you went after it. And that's, if you're a streamer and you have to control your audio, take a look at the PC panel, especially if you're routing audio with any kind of software. Like Darren uses the Revelator and I use the Wavelink software. The PC panel is amazing. So Sheboygan, right, Tommy, how you doing, brother? The Sheboygan Inn, and that's it. He's north of even Sheboygan right now. It's almost like in the Arctic Circle. I think he's like pretty much like level and equivalent with like Montreal practically, and then he stops in here, and just because he can't get away from YouTube, he misses his streaming, buddy. Right, exactly. Yep. And then wow, it's nice to see everybody popping in here. It's like midnight on my time. I haven't been this late in a long time, and it's cool to see everybody just popping in. Here's Den. Hey, Den. Usually we're finishing up a stream and we come and say hi to you, and you're singing and stuff, right? But nice to see you, and thanks for stopping in and saying hi. I appreciate that. And Den is over, I believe, in the Philippines, and she's got a channel that she might be like up, but of course the time difference is huge, and she does a lot of singing, and she'll hang out with their friends, and it's nice of her to stop in and say hi. I appreciate that. Thank you. And so what are you saying here? If you use a mic you plug directly into your computer, PC panel can help you. Okay, yeah, right. Yep, because then you can just go, you can make almost any of these buttons and sliders do anything. It's not just audio. And if you watch my video, I can literally hear and set this to go open an application. I can be in OBS and I can have one of these buttons or knobs change me over into a different scene. So if you don't know the PC panel, go watch my video on it. Go take a look and see what the PC panel does. It may be able to help you in a lot of different ways. But as far as routing, it's so awesome to have a slider. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, that's a lot of times me and my co-host JA, when we're done streaming, we usually talk for a while. And so when we're talking, I always pop on and check who's still streaming. And that's how we met, like Tommy Bernhard's podcast right here. And when Tommy popped into my stream and he introduced himself when we were talking, then he was streaming like after, and then we were watching his stream, and me and Jeff were talking. And then that's how we became like pretty much friends with Tommy, and being able to see what he's up to and what he's doing. Hey, Darlene. Speaking of Sheboygan, there's Darlene. She's close to Sheboygan, and we know that. She owns one of my coffee talk and tech cups and coffee cups. But yeah, it's a flexible as you are innovative. There you go. You can find ways for it to be used in a lot of different ways. Yep. So that's like what I've been working on as far as the things that I've been using, and I really enjoy the the fact that now I don't have to really stress out about my inputs with Vmix. I could probably have 200 or 300 inputs with video and a bunch of other stuff in my stream, and it really won't affect it too much with a 3060. And the guy tried to sell me, and he made a good point. He's like, listen, for another 150, I could sell you a 3060 Ti. And I says, yeah, that opens up, some memory to 256-bit versus 192. Listen, there's things it does, but as far as streaming in 1080 and having these inputs, I don't need probably anything else. And at this point, if I was going to make a jump like that, it will be a few years from now. And it would be a deal that I would make also, another deal to be able to make, so it would be cost effective for me. And that's the thing. I've been really lucky. Like I picked up a few of these cheaper video cards last year or 2 years ago for literally $75, $100. And I was able to sell those video cards for $200. So I made like at least 100% profit on those. And then knowing that I'm paying over $100 over the list price on these video cards, then it's a wash for me. Like it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Because it all comes out in the wash in the end, money wise. And that's what I try to do with some things, and but not, it doesn't happen all the time, but we get there. But JA is gonna be having a birthday, by the way, too. I think on Monday, or is it Sunday, Jeff? I think it's Monday. So I want to wish him a happy birthday too, and I hope he's doing well on his vacation. And I don't know if he's supposed to be hanging out with us right now. I don't know why he is. Kind of makes me wonder. Could be. You don't know, Jeff. Could be. But am I? So remember, I kind of talked to you a little bit about how I used to mess around with things. And actually, I had a Facebook post come up today, actually. And it was in 2010, Tommy, when I was buying my motorcycle gloves from Alibaba, right? That's a pretty long time ago, right? 2010. And I was reselling that stuff on eBay and on motorcycle forums. Of course, eBay was last resort then, because if I can go into a motorcycle forum and put them up for sale, I don't have to pay fees. I don't have to pay anything. And that's what I was trying to do. But I've made hundreds of sales and buys, hundreds, at least maybe 1,000 or a couple thousand over the years. And you do get to learn how to price things out. And I knew a long time ago of how to do comps and how to check things. And it always interested me, Tommy. And there's always ways to make money. And especially when it comes to things like this, where you're looking for some money to maybe to expand your streaming and you need lights, I'll find a way to make money. And lately, I was finding cameras and reselling cameras. And heck, if I can find a camera and then resell it on eBay and make some money on it, I'll do it. I just did it with a video card. I put them up for the right price and they sell. Everybody else is sitting. I'll sell them and I'll make the money. But because, there's a certain amount of profit that's worth taking. And otherwise, I don't want to be sitting there waiting for the video card prices to come down. So I do, Tracy. That's the thing. I do, like, I know this little bit of knowledge about everything, and I just get involved in things, and I don't know exactly why all the time, but I just do. And I enjoy it because these are little things that you can find ways to make a little bit of money on the side when you need it. And it will work out because when you know the market about a certain product, then it's all about just buying and selling. And I was doing the same thing. Like I knew when I was buying these bicycles, a couple of those 80s bicycles for really good prices, I knew I could make a profit on them or break even years down the road. So I try to do that. Do I use stingers for camera switching? So I made one stinger a while ago, and I keep it here. And so I don't use it for camera switching because I think it's a little bit too much to change it with every camera switch. But like, let's say I was going from, let's just give you, for instance, say I was going from what I'm showing right now to maybe showing my screen 1. So there we go. So now I'm showing my screen 1, making that transition. But for switching, like basic things like just the camera switch, no, I usually don't. I usually just switch to it like this or something, you know, because I just think that gets a little bit like, okay, enough of that. Like, I just want to do it a bit here and there when I make like a bigger transition. And then when you don't use it a lot and then you do use it, people are like, oh, that was really cool. You know, it's the same with everything. Once you get overdone with everything so much, then it doesn't seem very impressive when you're using it all the time. And the reason I even made this stinger, because it's not like you can't just take that in and then use an MP4. It's literally broken down into a format, and then you have to time it. And so the camera switches at the right time, because what I made the mistake of is that when I pushed the button, it showed me a little bit and then switched back and then showed me a little bit, and I had to make it perfect. But everything's a learning experience, and that's what I run with that always, because I like to learn. I have great posture. I actually do. I actually do. People always say that actually too, that I have good posture. Yep. And I try to instill that also in my son, because having good posture there's nothing wrong with it. That's for sure. That's funny you said that though. Yes. I think that it is a lot, right? If you're just using that stinger all the time to switch, I think it gets to be too much. And it's even like with the cameras, it's good when you're doing some sitting and you're talking and you're switching the cameras. And I do like that, because I think it's engaging and it keeps people looking and wondering like, what's the next scene, or what are you doing, or what are you showing, or, you know, how is that looking? And it keeps you like, because a lot of times when you're talking about a topic, you're just talking and they might not even be listening. But if they're watching, they're more engaged when they see movement or some switching. And I know for some people, they think it's a little bit too much, but yeah. Restraint is key on all the toys. And I take more pride out of, do I sound good? And the first thing I do is after a stream, and I'll go back in and I listen to myself. And one of the things I noticed, and I'm actually testing it tonight, is I went from 128 kilobits of my sound quality to 160. And I'm gonna go back and listen. And then there might be one other thing I do, because now when I record at 192 kilobits and the bit rate. And then I am going to probably stream at 192 also. It doesn't take a ton of data, and I definitely noticed that you don't see much of a quality increase after the 192, no matter if it's 320. So, but I'm noticing that it sounds much better. And so I've been messing with the quality of that. But, right. Yeah, I got a yardstick taped to my back. That's what I do. Yeah, I don't know. I've always had pretty good posture. And the really weird thing, you're gonna know one of my little pet peeves right now. Not a pet peeve, but one of the things I take notice of. I take notice of all the time people's walking gait. And what I mean is, I like to watch people walk by, and I take notice if they're flat-footed, if they walk pronated, if they walk and drag their heels, if their knees knock. And it's just something about me where the part of me when I used to be young and I used to be this personal trainer and lifter, where I look at people's body structures and I notice weaknesses or things they can improve on and things like that. It's so weird to tell you this, but it's true. I constantly look and notice those types of things. It's really weird. Too much is never enough. Tell them, right? Let's be over the top. Sometimes you gotta be over the top. Here we go. I'm gonna pull this back in. What do you guys, what is your guys' opinion? Put in yay or nay in the chat if you think this overlay looks decent. Do you like it? Do you think it's okay to have my name in here? Do you think the color is good? I picked it, of course, so I think I like it. So if you like it, give me either a thumbs up or yay. If you don't like it, give me a nay. It's okay if you don't like it. Like maybe the colors are too much. Maybe, maybe it should be just a little bit more one solid color. So Sammy says it looks good. I'm on a roll. My mom says, maybe I am. He likes it. Nice retro look. Okay. I wouldn't even think retro. Hey, Mark. Nice to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a while. Nice to see you. I think you're robbing me of screen real estate, but okay. I'm robbing you of screen real estate? I'm greedy. You think that the overlay is robbing screen? Let me just make sure I know what you're saying here. I sometimes think that where it's like, I don't know if people would rather just see more of the room and the surroundings, or is the overlay okay? And I think it's about branding too. Like sometimes when I'm doing a stream, I may want to bring in the branding and show off that it's Coffee Talk and Tech, but I think that sometimes like when we're streaming with the people that I usually run into every day here, right? All you people are my friends. So yay. Okay. So I'm getting a yay from Charles. A yay from Darlene. You want more Cabell. So, but Mark, good to see you either way. So a lot of people are liking the overlay, but there's something that I think also is like with all of you, I think it's kind of like, it just feels more intimate like this. I like being open. And what's really weird is I was intentionally my intentions, I should say, were to stream with my regular mic. And I was like, you know what, tonight, let me just stream with the overhead and see how that flows and all. And is there anybody here that prefers no mic in front of me like I usually do have? Do you guys like this better? Or how do you like this? Now, there's no doubt that this sounds better. And I love the way this sounds. And it won't change what I decide to do. I just always like to know what people are thinking, in general. What do people like in general? And it's always good info to have opinions that, especially that you guys, I take your opinions seriously. So, okay, mix it up. Yeah, and that's what I've been doing. So what are you saying here? How many feet between your back? Oh, and the wall. Someone asked me that just the other day, the same exact question. I would guesstimate that I have about 9 feet behind me. 9? Let me see. 7.5 behind me. 7.5, 8.5, 9.5, 10.5. I got about 11 feet full in this room this way. About 11.5 total, and I think I have about 7.5, 8 behind me. Yeah, it's darn close to that. And I don't know if you guys caught this, but what I did tonight is I set my f-stop to 2.8 instead of 1.4 to make these background more in focus for a change, instead of the bokeh, and just so you can see more of what's in my screen and my surroundings. And this one is also at the same f-stop, And I just think that I wanted to see what it looks like, because I noticed myself always looking at other people's live streams and looking at what they have around them. And I just thought that maybe people were happy about it. So, oh, you're working overtime tonight. Let me see, hour and a half. Yeah, I did. That is true. I've been going, but who knows? You like the overhead mic. Okay. So you like that, you know, I think it's kind of cool because then people get to see me, you know, with nothing in front of me and sometimes not behind it. And that they like that. And I get it. So you're saying I don't have many feet behind me. I am not getting the bokeh with my Canon M50 Mark II and the Sigma 16. Right. And so the separation will definitely make it occur a lot more. And I would suppose that your f-stop is 1.4 also, right? You got it maxed out, Don. I'm sure you do. Yeah, you're watching UFC. Every week I want to watch like some good UFC, and when a good fight happens, J Cruz, maybe we'll meet up somewhere. Go watch it one of these days. We can meet if me and you drive like about 20 minutes each way, we could probably meet in the middle, or no more than a half an hour, I would think. Go watch a fight. We got to go watch a good one. Woo, you got all sorts of stuff going on. I've done a lot since you've been around, Mark. I really upgraded a lot of different things, changed a lot of different things, and I'm always about improving, you know, and it's not for the sake of saying, hey, look what I got. It's really more about, that's what my, channel's all about. It's about getting better at streaming. It's about getting better things out there that are going to let you make your YouTube channel better. There's my mic right there, guys, and how it's pointed down, right down to me, with a little bit of a foam windscreen over the top. Yeah, I figured, Don, that you had it at 1.4. That's the only sense. So, so you weren't using the mic that was in front of you. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is I've had people say, wow, your out of shot mic sounds really good. And it's part of using the hardware that I have, the DBX286S, and the mic that I have. It's the right mic to have. It is a mic that you have in untreated areas. It is a pencil mic. It's not a shotgun mic. And I've gone over this types of stuff a million times. It's fine. I love saying it over and over because it's gonna help people. It's gonna, the more I say it, the more it will sink in for more people, and they'll stop spending more money on things that don't work any better and actually work worse. And that's what I try to do. That's what I try to say. Yeah, you're word up with that meeting up. Yeah, we're going to do it. We'll do it one of these times. We'll definitely do it. What he said, this guy gets 1,000 subs and woo, Hollywood over here. Yeah, I wish. It's a slow process for me. It's not happening overnight by any means. It's pretty much slow and steady, kind of too slow for me sometimes. And it's my own fault. It's my own fault because I got a little burnt out with how much streaming I was doing to reach the goal of getting monetized. And then it was not doing as many of the videos that I should have been doing. And I wouldn't change the thing. Because I learned a lot. I met a lot of great people. I learned a lot, and that's more important. I am going to put it into my mental notebook. I am going to make things better. I am going to do better, and I am going to be able to, I'm going to, and wherever that takes me is where it will take me. I'm not sure. I'm not talking about like it's all about the subs, but it's just, be able to get more information out there to people, and they're going to make the decision whether I'm worthy enough to watch or not. And so I'm going to try to do that. But what do you got here? What are you saying? This is a great view from behind, John. Yeah. You're talking about from the side or the behind? The behind is like, this is just a tight shot because I'll have it focused on my software right here and my desk here. And in this shot, I'm using a 50 millimeter. It's just something I wanted to play with by throwing a 50 millimeter on there. And it's a tight shot, and I'm probably going to switch back to a 24 millimeter at 2.8. So we get a wider view of everything. But I like how sharp this lens is in the middle and everything. It just looks good. And it just wanted to show more of a, like, from behind. And so this scene is what you're getting is where the camera is right there. This is it. And that's a Canon EOS R over there. That's my only full frame camera that I own. Yeah, you like the side. Okay. Yeah, the side view is cool. Is really cool. Excuse me. The side view is cool. I really enjoy it too. It's kind of cool. It's kind of nice, and it's kind of fly. I really like it. It's really nice. And for a while, I'll tell you what. So this is an A6400 right here. And when I put the 16 millimeter lens on there, there's a lot of focus breathing, and you'll see it breathing with the light because the light's shining. And then when I change lenses and I have an 18 to 135 over there now, the focus breathing is practically non-existent. So in all essence, this lens is better on that. And then of course I have the Sigma 16 on the front right here. I have two Sigma 16s, and that is just definitely the best lens for the full on to be using. Who? You shocked who isn't up on screen? Me? So upside down, but hopefully for not much longer. Potentially 3 jobs lined up. Oh, for you, gotta buy more tech. You know how that goes. Oh, yeah, I absolutely do. I've gotten a little bit of consultation work, and that's really great. I want to keep on getting that. I really want to go that route where I'll save people's time and efforts without them having to spend hours of what do you think I need and then making the wrong decisions. It takes a lot of trust for someone to do those types of things. But I think once you sit down and you talk to somebody a little bit, it really goes that route. But it doesn't work for everybody. It doesn't work. I've had people come out and ask me questions, send me a message, and I'm suggesting something. And these are people that have never gotten their hands on any kind of camera before. And they'll be like, oh, I'm going to decide just to get the Sony A4. And I'm like, okay, it's a lot of money. Do you realize that you're going to have to buy lenses too? And how much that's going to cost you? Like you're looking deep into $4,000. But I mean, if you have the money, I don't care. You know, get whatever you want to get. But, give me a budget then. And they did give me a budget. It was like a lot less than that. So I was like, why did you give me that budget? So that's why I think a lot of people ask a lot of questions, and they get all this information from everybody. And everybody thinks more expensive is always better. But being that YouTube is what it is, and they compress your video so much, and these videos that you get from a ZV-E10 and an A6400 with a good quality lens is so outstanding, you do not need anything else to look fantastic. If you think you do, then you'd have to prove it to me, because it's hard to look a hell of a lot better if you're doing the things you're supposed to do. Your lighting is right, your settings are correct, your white balance is correct. I don't think you need any more of that. So, brother, you are made for that, given that advice. I mean, it is just advice, you know, and I just, I'm pretty secure in my thoughts and what I consider. And I wouldn't consider something or just say something if I didn't believe in it either. If I don't just put links up, almost every single link that I have in my YouTube description, I have and use. I even did the video on the cheap Xingyu BM800 XLR mic. I still have that mic today, and it sounds amazing for like 20 bucks. It just does. It's crazy. It's crazy. What are you guys saying up here? What are you saying here? What do you got, no brainer? That's partially because people may miss the point of delivery being one important factor when it comes to content, maybe. I don't know what they miss. I think that, you know, you have to really realize where you're at in your journey, and then you got to spend the right amount of money for what you're trying to achieve. Not everybody needs to have a $400, you know, mic, or should they have one, you know, or why would you pay for one? Everybody's in a different situation, in a different boat. You can get super great quality for a lot cheaper than you would ever think. And it's not always about how great the more expensive stuff is. And then everything has a level, right? Like, you're spending $1,000 on a camera. Where do you go from there then when you go full frame? Because now it's going to be at least double, right? So are you getting 50% better look? I don't believe so. And that's why I don't think it's at that point worthwhile. So if you're getting 10 or 15% and you're spending double the money, it doesn't make sense to me. And I would not recommend that. So, and if you're not a camera and a tech channel, there's no reason for you to be spending that kind of money on your hardware. So that's it, right? Just keep on buying more tech, and who cares about the bills? That's kind of how it almost rolls, you know, because I love it. When it comes to me, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy everything. Even just like these little things I just showed the other night, where I got the Rode Wireless Go 2s, you know, and there's 3 of them. This cool little charger that has the little C ports down there, the USB-Cs, and you just plug these in, and they all charge all together right in this one unit, and they can recharge over and over. I love it. I can't wait to use it. And then, you know, just those types of things where it just makes everything just much more easier on everything that I do. But, all right. I think I streamed long enough. What is everybody doing up? How's everybody doing? I know, believe it or not, yeah, I hate to say it, but where I live, I know the flu is starting to hit a lot of, you know, communities pretty darn hard right now. So I just hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's keeping their spirits up and they're keeping focused on where they want to go. You know, content creation's not always about the hardware and the stuff that we're using in front of us all the time. Sometimes it's about here and about here. And a lot of that is half the battle. And it's hard to stay focused sometimes, and it's hard to keep motivated. And I know a lot of you all have families, and you have situations, and you have jobs, and you have bills, and whatever you do to keep your dream alive, whatever you're doing to keep moving forward with doing the YouTube and keeping that happiness and goals in your life, I give you props. I give you props because you're still out there doing, and you're still out there dreaming, and you're not sitting down wondering what it takes or saying it's too hard, you know. And it is hard, but anything is possible, and you got to do it to, you know, it's like you said, you got to be in it to win it, right? So you got to be doing stuff to be able to experience that whole journey. And I try to do it. I try to live it. And I know when you see me, a lot of people think that I just steamroll over everything. And for the most times I do. But, and it doesn't make me invincible. It doesn't make me get more subscribers or anything. I just try to keep my head down, keep moving forward, and making small progress steps. And along with having some of the discussions I have had with you guys, I've had with Jeff, I've had with my wife, is at some points, sometimes it's also about patting myself on the back and saying, hey, with everything else you do in your life and you're still trying to get this done, well, good for you. Good for you. Because I don't want to sit here and hear people say that I'm afraid to try, I'm afraid to do. A guy in here earlier was like, hey, I'm streaming, I just started. Good for you, man. I'm glad you're out there doing it. Give it a shot, keep going, and also keep on trying to improve making videos. And AJ, nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. Are you using a shotgun mic? I don't see a mic in the shot. No, it's not actually a shotgun. It's called a pencil mic. And a pencil mic and a shotgun mic are a little different. I know people call everything that is looking like this a shotgun mic, but it's actually a small mic. It's only about 8 inches long, and it's called a pencil mic, and it's called an Octava 012 is the type of mic it is. And it picks up a little bit different of a pattern, and it's way better than some more expensive mics in the situation where you're in a untreated room. And this is where the mic excels. And because if you are in an untreated room and you have like an MKE 600, or you have a, 416, it's $1,000, it can actually be even worse. So a $1,000 mic can sound like garbage compared to a $260 mic if it's not the proper place for the mic. And these mics, just because they're more expensive, don't sound better. They're utilized in professional booths where professional sound treating is done, and then they sound absolutely amazing. If Sennheiser 416. So, what is it plugged into? Okay, so my audio chain is, my mic is plugged into a DBX 286S processing unit channel strip that I just did a video on. It's my latest video. And then it goes into my Wave XLR, and my Wave XLR is used for my routing. And I have certain VSTs that get used in my mic also. So I have processing from the DBX, but my noise reduction currently right now is being used in a VST software called an NS1. So just so you know, what he's saying, and you have something that pays your bills. I'm making a little bit of money from YouTube, but these things that I have in front of me too, like the DBX, if you look it up, yeah, it's $250 or whatever. I pick a lot of this stuff up used for 50% off. The DBX that I have in front of me, I actually paid, I believe it was 150. It was either 120. No, it was 120. I paid 120. So, yeah, and then you would pay $250 plus tax if it was new. So I'm always looking for a good deal. Yes. So Jeff is saying, what's your audio face and audio interface, and do you use VSTs? Right. So not a lot of them have the ability to use VSTs, but that's why the Wavelink is so great all around right now. And this is what I'm using, and I am really enjoying at this point. Right, Mark. Right, Mark. Exactly. You got to watch out for that. What's your audio interface and how do you know about STDs? Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And this is the noise suppression plugin that does wonders. The NS1, if you can add VSTs, the NS1 is like $29. And even like sometimes throughout the year, you can get as cheap as $19. And so that is, it's really awesome, actually, believe it or not. And it works really well. And it's so simple. So I know a lot of times you guys think that this stuff is complicated. Trust me, I'm using things that really is pretty easy. I mean, I'll even go out of my way and just, I'll show you how easy this is. Let me get back here to my display one. And in here, I'll pull this down. So here's my routing table for my Wavelink. This is my VSTs in here. I got a de-esser that I'm not using, it's crossed off. The only thing I'm using right now with the VST is the noise suppression. This is it. This is the NS1. So it's one button right here. So if I take this off, I will have no noise suppression down to 0. So now if I have no noise suppression, you don't see it compressing, and it's really quiet in here, but you might be picking up something when I don't talk. So maybe you hear this fan or something. So I'll be quiet for a second. Do you hear the fan? Do you hear anything? Let me know. And then all I do is I usually put it when I'm in a pretty quiet area. I bring this in to about 20. And I bring it here, and you can see it pushes the white noise down, and it's quiet right in the room. And if I want to take it a little more, I could take it to 30. But I like to keep it so it doesn't over process anything. So about 20 is where I keep it. And that's it. That's all you do. It's as simple as that. So when I'm telling you, like, we talk about these things, but they're not really difficult to use. And I just wanted to show you that that's just one aspect of what I'm talking about. All right. Of course, I always never think that I'm going to go as long as I do. And here I am again. But but if you haven't hit the like button, please do so, because it really helps me out and makes a huge difference. And you guys showing up is awesome. I appreciate that. And I hope everybody's doing good. And it was great to see a lot of people stop in, and a few people that I haven't seen in a really long time. And this is part of the reason, is just to be able to have people stop in, communicate, and see me. And I really enjoy that, and I appreciate you doing that. And yeah, Octava is the name of the mic. It's a 012, and it's a Russian mic, so you might not have an actual easy way to find it. There are other mics, and there's a lot of different factors that come in and why it sounds so good. But it's there's Samsung Q01. I think we did on a pencil mic. It was like $62, and they were selling like 2 of them for like $100. The mic itself sounds really good. The noise floor is a little bit higher, but the thing is, like, say you were able to use VSTs, then you could take that noise floor and just cut it out, and it wouldn't be anything. So that's part of the benefits of having something like that, you know, because then you could just go pretty darn cheap, and it makes a big difference with having the NS1. But Remember when John was ending stream an hour ago? I was not ending. I was just talking. I'm glad you did too. It was good to see you, and I appreciate that you came by and hit it. Yeah, I mean, I've been working on a lot of different stuff. Did you hear? You heard? Oh, so you did hear it? Did you finally hear the fan when I took that off? So that's kind of cool to know that you might have heard a little bit of the background, a little bit. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, it makes a big difference. So thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thanks you so much. Sasquatch, NHL, you have a great night. Thanks for coming out and saying hello. Can I run a 3.5 to LXL adapter into the Wave XLR for headphones or for mic? I mean, you can run an adapter, but this is the input of the Wave is an XLR, full size. So, and then don't forget the same software comes with a Wave 3 USB. And that's the whole thing, is that I want people to know it's the same exact software. So you can use that Wavelink software in a USB mic for anywhere between 120 to 150 bucks. Or you can get the Wavelink for about 150-ish. And then you could buy and use any XLR mic. And so this is an XLR mic that's up here. And then of course my Rode NT1. And then I have an EV320 and a couple other mics. Okay, so you can still hear the AirPods right now with the fan going, and because I have no music right now, right? So you can definitely, I'll be quiet. Yeah, I think you can hear it just a little bit when I'm not talking, right? I just installed. Oh, did you? I just installed the Wave XLR. Oh, look at you. So you picked it up, and that's my recommendation. Everybody's been bashing it for months and months. Well, not everybody. A lot of streamers use it and really enjoy it. But a lot of average people can't get around that it's how powerful it is, because it just looks like this little tiny little thing, but they don't realize what it can do and how powerful it is. What are you saying here? Can't hear fan when my vacuum is running though. That's a good thing. Right. Right. But thanks, man. Thanks for coming in. You're running the SM7B, but want to get mic out of my face. Yeah. Then I mean, you can run adapters, but then it's just how good is that mic you're running it to if it's not running off of a full size XLR. You know what I mean? Then I wouldn't really know if that would be fair enough to say. This is a full size XLR up here. If you guys haven't taken a look at my merch, please check my spread shop out. It's got some really nice coffee cups, and it's got some nice shirts with the Coffee Talk and Tech logo on it. And I hope everybody's doing good. If there's not anybody else got any kind of question at all? Oh, you got the video mic NTG. Got you. That's why you're asking. It should work. Throw the adapter on it and check it out. I guarantee someone's done it, so it might even have a video about it. Yeah, I just caught you on that. Okay. Yep. Yeah. And if it works, it's good, because that's a good sounding mic for what it is. That's for sure. That is for sure. All right, guys. I think I'm going to pack it up. I really appreciate everybody coming out, and hitting the like and stopping in and chatting. Really good topics that we talked about. I really miss everybody. I really do. I miss streaming as much as I was. Say a little prayer for me that I keep on pushing forward with my videos, and I'll be looking forward to getting a couple out and a couple new ones, and really appreciate everybody coming in saying hi. And yeah, thanks, Tommy. Bye all. And it's been great seeing you all, and it was really, really cool to be able to chat it up. It was awesome. So hats off to you people for showing up. I appreciate it. It was fun. Let's do it again. Not too soon. I'll get addicted to it again. Start doing it too much, and I'll stop doing my videos. And you know how that goes. Thanks. I'm glad you caught it too. Bye, Tracy. Bye, everyone. Have a great night. See you all soon. Love you. Stay safe.